It is Thursday, May 21st. Okay, yeah, it's not working, Jeff. We are live on YouTube. Fabulous. This meeting's being recorded. I forgot to record my meeting yesterday. The travesty. These things happen, technical difficulties, right? How's everyone doing today in the world of senior real estate? I am super happy to be here today and be recording. And I wanted to touch base with everyone to see how things are going. Diana, how things going in your area?
We're good. I've got a senior buyer who would like to put an offer in on a house. Um, I don't think it's a good fit for her, but she does, and her daughter, adult daughter, does. I don't think it's good for her long term because the laundry is in the basement, and the stairs are very steep. But I pointed that out twice, and that's pretty much all I can do.
This is correct. All you can do is do that. You are 100% correct. And it's unfortunate, but it's their decision, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's 76 and she has arthritis
Uh-huh.
and already struggles with stairs. So we did talk about other minor things that she could do to modify the home.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other homes that are actually cheaper um, that she doesn't need to do a single thing. But I pointed those out and that's fine. We're going to do
That's
what she
all
wants
you
to
can
do.
do.
Yeah.
100%. That's all you can do. Yeah, a question for you. Whatever happened to the Adult Protective Services case?
Yeah. So I didn't report it.
Mhm.
Um, there's something holding me back from it. Um, and I can't really pinpoint what it is. I don't know if I have doubts on whether the case is going to be taken, or I
Mhm.
don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating like in my head. I don't think I am. But I've had it on my to-do list for a week and I haven't done it.
Yeah.
There's something holding me back. Um, so I don't know. I don't really know.
So sometimes we have to listen to that intuition inside of us, right? And I will tell you, I'm just sharing this meeting code with someone. I will tell you from personal experience, I never want to do something that can always come back to haunt me later, right? I'm always very methodical for when I have to do those things. I've always been like that, even when I worked in healthcare. And I'll tell you a funny, but not so funny story. So I have a listing that got multiple offers on it. And the seller said, okay, we're going to go with this offer. So I responded within the time frame to respond, right? And just trying to send this over to this lady quick, see if she can jump on. And I didn't hear back from the agent. So I was like, I called the agent. Not only did the agent say to me, I'm on vacation in Chicago and you're calling me on my vacation. That was the way they answered the phone. They also corrected how I said their name, which we all have our own pronunciation. So I was like,
Right.
okay, no big deal. Must be a pet peeve of theirs, right? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I then said, okay, great. I just sent that over. Did you get our counter to your offer? And he said, oh, yeah, I got it, but we're already in contract. And I'm like, what do you
Can't
mean?
send out multiple offers.
Already in contract. I said, well, what do you mean? We sent out multiple offers, and the first person that said yes to our lowball offer was the one that we decided to go with. And I said, you can't do that. Like, you that's real estate 101 was my knee jerk. I was like, you can't do that. Like, no. And I just was like, what in the hell is going on? So he says, yeah, I'm here to work for my buyers and get them under contract as much as quickly as I can. And he's like, I'm going to do it at any way possible. I got so agitated that I told him that
Unethical.
he was unethical and I slammed the phone in said face. I was like, I'm done. And I hung up. I was going to report them. I was actually going to call the broker and say, hey, WTF, right? And then some told me not to. This was a Friday. Something told me not to. No, no, no. Okay. Okay. No problem. So then the next day comes Saturday. One of my buyers, who's friends with our family, called me up and said, hey, I want to go look at this house. It's a short sale. It's in this neighborhood. I want to go take a look at it. And I was like, all right, no problem. We've been working together for a while. I know he's not ready, but I was like, your house is, I know you're not ready. You got to sell a house. It just got on the market, but we'll go take a look at it anyways, right? And it was on my way back from another showing that I had to do. So, like, no big deal. What's a half hour? I go to look up the property and it's the same agent. And I'm reading it and I'm like, this is why I had that like gut feeling. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So I'm like, huh. So now I have to call the agent because it says, call the agent so I can explain to you the short sale details. So I'm like, well, great. They're on vacation in Chicago. So I call up the agent, completely different tone, completely different mood, like, oh, let's try and make a deal. And I was like, do you remember me from yesterday? No, it's no idea who I am, or pretended like no idea who I was. So to make a long story short, the information that was provided from the short sale was horrifically inaccurate. And we ended up putting an offer in to decline their counter. And I was actually I didn't say anything to my buyer. I just was like, I am so happy that I am not in contract with this person right now. However, in that neighborhood, this particular agent sells a lot of houses, lists a lot of houses. So sometimes your gut tells you something, listen to it, not wrong.
Yeah.
And loop in others for feedback, especially in your case, to say, hey,
Yeah.
is this normal? Does this happen a lot in your area? Any guidance that you can try and give me? Because at the end of the day, as agents, we're not mandated reporters. And what something
Yeah.
that we might think that needs to be mandated isn't. So it's just one of those really touchy things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm a former teacher, so I was a mandated reporter. So I
Uh,
don't, that's still like instilled in me.
I'm the
And I
same.
have talked to other people, like the Caring Transitions moving manager, because
Mhm.
she's the one that did some of the packing for him. And she was like, this is elder abuse. And I was like, is it? She's like, absolutely, yes, you should do it. You should call. I was like, why don't you call? She's like, okay.
Well, that's the
So we
thing.
kind of have been playing this game.
You could always call up to ask and say,
Yeah,
hey, I have this scenario because I have to do this with something else. I have this scenario and I don't know if I'm making more out of it if than it is. I want to have the best interest of my client. What guidance can you give me?
yeah, maybe I should just
Just
say what I know and then just let it be.
and just say I don't I want to be able to make sure I'm making the right decision and not
Sure,
have a tragedy happen.
sure. Okay.
So it's all in the way that you approach it, where you're
Yeah,
like, I'm I'm not sure type of a
Yeah.
deal.
But
But
I would
it
kick
is
myself if something did happen and I could have helped it in some way, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. And this happens with all of our clients. Um, so I don't know if all of you saw my post that I put up the other day, but I did have a client pass away, and I talked about this yesterday too. A client that passed away um, mid-transaction as a seller.
Yeah.
And the important thing to know is power of attorney dies with the person. So in this transaction, I have been working with this family for a very long time. And I know who the power of attorneys are. I know who the executive of the will is. And we close on the 26th. And this happened 2 days ago. So I know what I know, but I am looping everyone in so that they can be proactive. So power of attorney passes away with the person who passes away, becomes null and void, and then the executor of the will takes over. However, my question to all of you lovely folks who are on today is, can the executor of the will sign the documents? And can you close with just the will? I see heads shaking. No, no, you cannot. You are correct. And I'm bringing this up because it's a really big lesson to be learned. And then what can we do as real estate agents to help uh, guide this and move it along? So I will give you this scenario so that you can kind of figure out where I'm coming from. And no, I know you can't read my mind, which I think a lot of people can. So you can't. I moved this client into a senior living community. They started running out of money. We moved them into a Medicaid waiver community. They needed a higher level of care. So then they recently moved to skilled nursing, long-term care, Medicaid bed. So this has been a year-long process. The two power of attorneys live up north. They do not live down here. So I'm their eyes and ears. I go see this seller at least twice a month. So everybody knows me when I walk in because I'm always going to see them, signing documents, lowering the price, this, that, whatever the case may be. We're always in contact. We've been running out of funds, and there's no like cash out refi and anything of that nature. So this has been a really big push to get this condo sold and moved on. Finally got a buyer, and we close on the 26th. So now client goes to the hospital, ends up passing away at the hospital. Power of attorney calls me to loop me in. In all of this happening, they've been filing for Medicaid. And so they've been going through this whole long process of doing it. And it's been really tumultuous for the family. So now I get off the phone with a power of attorney and I'm like, oh my gosh, who's the funeral home? That's the only piece that I couldn't remember. Like, oh my goodness, who is helping with the funeral home? Because when someone passes away in the hospitalist has to sign the death certificate, and then it goes to the medical examiner to sign the death certificate. And they each have 72 hours to review it by law. Can it happen faster? Absolutely. Do I need this to happen in 1 hour? Yes, I do, because I need that death certificate in order to close on this property and make sure the transaction goes through as quickly as possible, because the family knows that the buyer just had a baby, they want to move in, they have a double closing happening. So it's all a toggle, it's like a domino effect. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So finally get in touch with the family. And I said, okay, great. Who's your funeral home? They said, actually, we were looking up XYZ funeral home. We were just Googling it. We're looking for the most cost-effective way for us because there's very little cash left. Okay. I said, I need you to call this funeral home, call this person right now. While I was on the phone with them, I did a three-way text between the funeral director, who's on my bod, and the power of attorney. I did this because I know that this death certificate is very, very important. Titles having a conniption, the underwriters, the lenders having like a hissy fit, like everyone's freaking out. So I'm like, okay, we got to get this taken care of. I get off the phone. I said, call the funeral director. They said, yep, we're going to call the funeral director. Within 5 minutes, the funeral director texted me, said, I dropped everything. I'm in the hearse and we're going to get the seller right now. That type of customer service is something that we all need to do for our clients. We all do from time to time, but you need to make sure that your board of directors does as well. Now, I've told you about this funeral director. I have partnered with them since the beginning of the year, and they've given me a dozen referrals since then. And so we truly want to be able to grow each other's business. Now, could I have had them go with just anyone? Yes, absolutely. But this funeral director's physically in the hospital right now, getting everyone to sign the documents for us. And that is what you need when you have a situation that we have right now. But at the same point in time, you need to know who's going to be able to go to bat for your clients, just as you would. So I can't wait to be able to write them a glowing review because they sprung into action and they're like doing it right now for us. But the thing about this was unexpected. No one expected this to happen. There was no reason for it to happen, you know? There's some hospital admissions that have happened in the past year, but not to this extent. So anything can happen at any time. And it's good to be able to ask these questions because as we're helping our clients, yes, we keep notes. I put things in my CRM. Sometimes I keep notes on my phone or in a notepad, but I couldn't find that one piece of information. And at the end of the day, we're trying to help the family out with as much as possible because now they're trying to figure out, how am I going to get down here? I got to get a flight down here. We have all these loose ends to tie up. We have to get the furniture out. So we're trying to help them with all of those logistics. Has anyone had this happen before? No? Someone was just trying to get in, so I'm just checking. No? So this is something that I want you to keep in your back pocket because at the end of the day, I do think that sometimes it's a blurred understanding, and each state does have different requirements as far as power of attorneys, what they prefer in their power of attorney, because Florida has their own, and I know Connecticut and New York had their own as well. And so it's important for us to be able to have that understanding, but not only for that, but just for our own family and friends who go through this. Because I always say, if you have a driver's license, you better have a power of attorney and advance directives. It's like, do you want a DNR? Do you not want a DNR? Do you know what a DNR is? Do not resuscitate. Is that something that you care about? Is it something that you don't care about? No different than, are you an organ donor or aren't you an organ donor? It goes beyond that little check mark that they put on your license for you. And it's something that's really important. So as we're servicing all of our clients' needs, it's really important for any buyer or seller that you work with to ask them this simple question that I've been telling you guys for years now. Post-closing, have you updated your will? They just closed on one of the biggest transactions that they probably had in their lifetime. Is it in the will? Did they remove it from the will? Is it in their trust? Do they need to remove it and add the new place in? All of these things are important. And of course, when you're doing first-time home buyers who may have children, it's always something good to be brought up. And this is where you can loop in your elder law attorneys to help. I had a question today from someone who called me earlier, and they asked me, they said, hey, listen, my title company has an attorney on file. Can I use them? Or do I need to use an elder law attorney? Can you use any attorney? Sure, as long as they're willing to write it for you. But the question remains is it going to be written correctly? Elder law attorneys are just like divorce attorneys or waterfront real estate agents versus senior real estate agents. It's a designation for them. It's a specialty. It's like a litigation attorney is going to be different from an HOA property attorney, right? So we have different crafts. So I always say, ask the question, see how comfortable you feel. I like going to an elder law attorney. I think it's really important. I use 3 in my area because all 3 charge something different. I think that's important to be able to provide options to your clients, and then make sure that, they might say, hey, I think these 2 documents are all you need. And someone might say, hey, you have a lot of assets. You should use a trust, and let them be the driver of that because that's their expertise. So any thoughts or concerns or ahas? Yeah, quiet today. But I do think that this is important. I'd like to be able to share it with you because I'm so proud of the way my funeral home director really just stepped up and moved in. And this is the first time that I have referred anyone to them. I've had the opportunity, I would say, to refer anyone to them. So how many of you are going to go and figure out who you can put on your bod that's a funeral home today? That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. And it's really important because you just never, things happen unexpectedly. You never know when it's going to happen. And they can give you referrals because, like I said, I've gotten them from my funeral home today already. I've gotten now a dozen of them. And I'm helping one of their family members right now buy a house. So you just never know. Everyone has their own sphere, and you never know how you can make an impact with someone. Any other questions or thoughts or things that are happening in your life that we want to touch base on real quick?
I mean, these are hard conversations to have. Like I have 2 small children, and the importance of even having this when I'm a little bit younger, but then having these conversations when I'm older or with older clients, um, it's hard. It's hard to have these conversations with them. So
So
just,
let's just do a quick role play.
oh
We can
gosh.
do it. I know you kind of rip the Band-Aid off. And by the way, if you know me, I hate role play with all capital letters. Hate it, hate it, hate it. No, it's okay. But it's good because you have to rip it off like a Band-Aid. Do you want to be the seller or do you want to be the agent?
The seller or it
Which one?
doesn't matter.
Okay. So I'll be the agent, you be the seller.
Okay.
All right. Diana, we're going to close on your property next week. I'm so
Hooray.
excited for you. Are you excited?
I'm pumped.
I know. It's super exciting. We waited a long time for this. So, hey, after we close, are you going to update your will? Because now that we removed this property and you bought a new one, are you going to be able to switch that over? It's always something I ask my clients.
I don't have a will.
Oh, okay. So we have a new property that you just bought. And who do you want to leave it? Like, do you want to will it to anyone?
Well, I don't like thinking like that.
I understand. I come from an Italian background. We're talking about this stuff is like taboo. We don't talk about any of it. But in the state that we live in, if you don't have a will, it can go to probate and last sometimes 6 months to over a year, and it can be quite costly for your loved ones. You know, a simple will is something that can avoid that. And I've seen so many clients go through this. So I always like to educate everyone because I never knew this happened. And I want to just make sure that you'll be able to make sure that you're safe as well. And you don't have to have your family spend the necessary money to get something that you want to be able to will to them.
That can be my kids' problem.
I understand. However, when you say it could be your kids' problem, know that they can quite easily lose that entire asset because if it's going to take a year to go through probate, they would still have to maintain that property and pay for all the bills, utilities, everything that goes through. And it's something that we always try and shed some light on for all of our sellers and our buyers. So do you want to think about it for a little bit?
Yeah, do you have a connection that might be helpful?
Absolutely. I have one of the best elder law attorneys in town, but I'm going to give you a few to call so that you can see who you kind of jive with. Do you mind if I do an email with you and them?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Perfect. I'm going to send that over later this afternoon. And then you can decide how you want to kind of navigate it. But at the end of the day, you can have some peace of mind and provide that to your family too.
Yeah. I also try and like throw in like a story because I have sold a granddaughter's, or it was grandma's house
Mhm.
that grandma left to the granddaughter. And she was drowning in the mortgage payments and the maintenance across, and she was in Florida,
Mhm.
interestingly enough. Sold the house here in Montana. She was drowning. She was mid 20s, starting her family. She was drowning, and it caused her so much stress to empty the house, maintain it, get people to maintain it, pay the mortgage. And she did it for a year. And
Yep.
anytime she called me, she was practically crying.
It's really stressful. And, we go through this a lot down here because some of the HOAs in these condos are super high. And one
Mhm.
that I'm dealing with right now, it's $900 a month. And I said to them, I get that the house is paid for. Electric is like $100 a month. I get it. And you have to pay
Wow.
$1,000 a month to hold on to this property. So where's the pain point for breaking even on that? Right. And we talk about that and we talk about what their carry expenses are because dropping that price is something that they may never be comfortable with ever having that house drop to. When our inventory for condos, and Carlene knows this, is like sky high, we got to get that property sold and make it such a good deal that everyone's fawning all over it, right? Because I have this happening right now with a power of attorney, and he's drowning in HOA fees. And we have a contract that's going to close in about a month right now. And he's like, I am so happy that we are going to be able to get rid of this because that $900 a month is actually what scares buyers off. That's number one.
That would scare me.
And
Yeah,
Carlene knows like it includes water, it includes cable, it includes internet, it includes all these things, but people
it's
don't see it.
yeah,
They
right, right.
just see that like blaring in the MLS, $900 a month. And they're like, and
No,
it's been really tough with that. So I'm like, phew, we got that moving forward. And it's hard for people because yeah, we all have a number in our head that we want to be able to get. But at the end of the day, what is it going to cost you?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I definitely use the like I am younger than a lot of my clients, and I
Mhm.
definitely use that because I am their child. I am their adult child.
Yeah.
And if I can give a voice to their adult child that is across the country
Hmm.
with small children, a full-time career, a family, kids in sports, doing all the adulting things, I think I can give that unique perspective where they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to my kids, actually. I'm
No.
like, please don't, please don't, please don't.
No, it's a lot, and we try and give as many stories as possible because
Mhm.
it really helps people to resonate. But at the end of the day, it's a huge burden um, to not go through probate
Yeah,
and to not have to go through guardianship if you don't have a will,
yeah,
because guardianship is costly, it's lengthy. And if you get that diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia, it's really hard to be able to get a will after that because it depends on the level and if the attorney feels that you have capacity to sign. And it's out of everyone's hands. You could be having a really rotten day that day, and you could be sundowning all day. And that's the day that the attorney wants to interview you.
yeah,
And it could hinge on everything. So I always tell everyone to get it done. And the thing too is sometimes my clients, and this has happened before, their money is so tight that they're like, I don't have $2,000 right now. What am I going to do? I know I need one, but I don't have it. So what do? I have a notary that has some templates, and we have them touch base with a local notary that goes to them and does it with them, right? Now, is it as ironclad? No, but it's better than nothing. And it
yeah,
cost them a couple of $100. So it's one of those things that I use that as a last resort. But in today's economy, I mean, look at the price of gas. I don't know what the price of gas is by you, but by me, it was
four,
450.
460 down at in town.
It's terrible. So, and that's really hurting people right now. And so they're hoarding all of their pennies because they
Mhm,
don't want to spend any unnecessary money. And
mhm.
we're in that realm right now. But I will tell you, I did read yesterday that Florida had its best month ever last month in our Florida realtor newsletter that came out. I was like, yeah, I felt that. So it is, the people still are buying. It's just a little bit different. I do notice. And I notice less cash buyers and more leverage on loans, which is very interesting too, because normally we're a heavy cash market. Well, I hope you all found this really helpful today. I love these discussions, love having them. Any last ahas or moments before we kind of wrap up for the day? Anyone find this helpful? You could put a yes in the chat. Do
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Awesome. Do you want to? I'm still working on getting in some professionals to come and talk to us about some things, maybe some things we haven't thought about, a different perspective on things. And so I'm working on that with the team, and we'll be getting out some amazing speakers to come and educate us because education is key. I love it. I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.
Message me if you have anything. Send me a message on email because sometimes on Facebook, messages are going into a weird folder for me that I can't see. It's like another folder, like an other folder. And I want to make sure I get back to you. So have a
Okay.
great day, and I will talk to y'all soon. Thank you. All
Thank you.
right. Thanks, Harry.